Long ago, long before the roads were busy and before houses were made of cement, there was a quiet village in Nigeria called Ayanfe. Ayanfe was a place where life moved slowly. The land was red, the air was warm, and the wind carried the smell of palm trees and rain. In the early mornings, roosters crowed loudly, calling people awake. Women walked gently to the stream with clay pots balanced on their heads, and children chased one another barefoot on dusty paths. In this village lived a man named Baba Tunde. Baba Tunde was a farmer. He worked hard every day, planting yam, cassava, and maize. His hands were rough from labor, but his heart was soft. He greeted everyone with respect, shared food when harvest was good, and never refused help to anyone in need. The elders trusted him, and the children loved him. Baba Tunde had only one child, a daughter named Adasewa. Adasewa
Mama,
was
go on, please.
quiet and gentle. She spoke politely and listened more than she talked. She greeted elders by kneeling and helped her father without being asked. People often said that her good character came from her mother, Ayasowa, a woman remembered for her kindness. But death does not ask permission. When Adasewa was still young, her mother fell sick. For many days, Baba Tunde tried everything he could. Elders prayed, herbs were prepared, but one night, as the moon watched silently, Ayasowa took her final breath. Before she died, she called Adasewa close. With weak hands, she held her daughter and whispered words that would follow Adasewa for the rest of her life. She told her that life would not always be kind. She told her that people could be cruel. But no matter what happened, Adasewa must never allow bitterness to poison her heart. Adasewa cried and promised. And she never forgot. Years passed. The house that once held laughter became quiet. Baba Tunde did his best to raise his daughter alone, but loneliness is heavy, especially at night. The elders of Ayanfe advised him to marry again so that his daughter would grow up under a woman's care. After much thought, Baba Tunde agreed. He married a woman named Mareo, a widow from a nearby village. When Mareo arrived in Ayanfe, she came with many smiles. She spoke softly and greeted everyone politely. She praised Adasewa in front of Baba Tunde and called her my child. The villagers believed her. Baba Tunde believed her too. For a short time, peace returned to the house. But some hearts hide their true nature. Whenever Baba Tunde traveled to distant towns to sell his farm produce, Mareo changed. Her smile disappeared. Her voice became sharp. Her eyes became cold. One morning, after Baba Tunde had left, Mareo stood before Adasewa and looked at her with hatred. She told her that her mother was gone and that she was no longer special in that house. She said that from that day, Adasewa would earn her place through work. From that morning, Adasewa's suffering began. Before the rooster crowed, Mareo woke her. While the air was still cold and dark, Adasewa carried heavy pots to the stream. She returned with aching neck and trembling legs. Without rest, she swept the compound again and again. She cooked food she was never allowed to eat. She washed clothes until her fingers cracked. She worked on the farm under the hot sun until her body shook with exhaustion. Mareo's children slept, ate well, and played. Adasewa worked. If the food was late, she was beaten. If something broke, she was blamed. If Mareo was angry, Adasewa paid for it. Many nights, Adasewa slept hungry. She cried quietly, pressing her face into the mat so no one would hear her. But even in pain, she remembered her mother's words. The villagers noticed. They saw how thin she became. They saw the sadness in her eyes. Some whispered among themselves, but fear closed their mouths. When they asked Mareo, she lied and said the girl was stubborn and needed discipline. Time passed. Pain continued until one night. That night, Mareo accused Adasewa of stealing food she never touched. She beat her until the child could no longer stand. Broken and afraid, Adasewa ran into the forest. Her legs carried her far away from the village. She collapsed beneath a tall iroko tree and cried to the sky. She begged the god of her mother to see her tears. She begged for peace, even if it meant death. Suddenly, the forest grew quiet. An old woman appeared before her, dressed in white. She glowed softly, and her presence brought calm. Her voice was gentle, but powerful. She asked Adasewa why she cried. Adasewa told her everything. She did not curse Moreo. She spoke only the truth. The old woman smiled. She said patience speaks louder than anger. She said truth walks slowly, but it never gets lost. She touched Adasewa's forehead, and warmth filled her body. She told her to return home, because destiny had already begun its work. Days later, Babatunde returned earlier than expected. That same morning, Moreo had sent Adasewa into heavy rain to fetch water. On the road, Adasewa slipped and fell. But instead of pain, she felt strength rise within her. When Babatunde arrived, the villagers gathered. This time, they spoke, truth poured out. Moreo's lies collapsed. The old woman appeared once more, visible to all. Fear filled the air. Moreo fell and begged, but wickedness had already answered her. She was driven from the village in shame. Peace returned. Adasewa was embraced by her father and the community. She grew into a woman known for wisdom and kindness. Her suffering did not destroy her. It prepared her, until today, elders say, no matter how long the night lasts, morning will surely come. A wicked heart may hide, but truth always finds its voice.